Hi, I'm Megan and welcome to my kitchen. In today's video, I'll be sharing 2 recipes for 2 different snack ideas with you. Both of these recipes are budget friendly and they're quick and easy to put together. These would be great for a family game night or movie night or maybe even the upcoming Super Bowl or really any occasion. So let me share these 2 recipes with you. First up, I'm going to make loaded baked potato dip. I've made this many times. It always turns out really well. And whenever I make it for parties or get-togethers, or if I've taken it to like work potlucks, everyone has loved it. So let me share with you what you'll need. You'll need 16 ounces of sour cream, some bacon. The recipe calls for a package of bacon cooked and crumbled. I'm just using this package of bacon pieces from Great Value, 2 cups of shredded cheddar cheese, and then about 1/3 cup of sliced green onions. And then the recipe does not call for this, but I like to add in about 1/2 package of ranch dressing mix. I also really like to use the Fiesta Ranch from Hidden Valley in this. That's really good, but I didn't have that on hand today. I just had this plain dressing mix, so that's what we're going to go with. In a medium mixing bowl, I am going to add in the sour cream. The recipe calls for 16 ounces. I only had about 8 ounces of sour cream, so I'm going to add that. I did have some plain non-fat Greek yogurt on hand, so I'm going to add about 8 ounces of that. Now, the Greek yogurt, it does help cut down on calories just a little bit, but it's not necessary. You can just use all sour cream if you'd like. I'm just using what I have on hand. I'm going to mix that up a little bit and then add just under about 1/2 packet of this dry ranch dressing mix. Again, the recipe doesn't call for this. You don't have to add it, but I just like the flavor that it gives. Next, I'm going to shred up this sharp cheddar cheese that I got from the Dollar General store. You can just use pre-shredded cheese. I just didn't have any on hand, so I'm going to use this. My husband got me this for Christmas. It came from Amazon. I know there's one from like QVC that I've seen a lot of people have, but this one came from Amazon and I love it. I shredded this whole block of cheese in not even a minute. It does such a great job. I highly recommend it. So I've shredded my cheese. I'm just going to set that aside and then chop up my green onions. If you don't have green onions on hand, you could use chives or even dried chives. And if you don't like onions, just leave them out. So now I'm going to add in my shredded cheese, my chopped green onions, and then my bacon pieces. Again, the recipe calls for a package of bacon that you cook, but I'm just using these because I have them on hand and it's a lot easier. I'm going to give that a stir. And here you'll see that I give this a little taste. I felt like it needed a little bit of salt and pepper and just a little more of that ranch dressing mix. That's one of my biggest tips if you're new to cooking, or really even if you're not new to cooking, is to taste things as you go and adjust them to your taste with whatever you're making. Always taste it and adjust it to your taste. Now, here you'll see I add just the tiniest little pinch of sugar. I didn't even add 1/8 teaspoon. But the reason why I did that is because I used the non-fat Greek yogurt, and that Greek yogurt is a lot more tangy than sour cream. So that sugar just balances out that tanginess a little bit. And again, I added just the tiniest little smidgen. I'm going to mix that together really well and then place that into my serving dish. And you don't have to do this, but I like to top it with just a little bit more cheese, bacon, and green onions for garnish. Then I'm going to place a lid on this and pop this into my refrigerator for at least an hour or 2. I mean, you can eat it right away, but it really is better if you let it set for at least just an hour or so before you serve it. And here is the finished dip. Now, I like to serve this with just some plain like wavy or ruffled chips. But you can use whatever chips you like. You could also use crackers or pretzels. This again is so quick and easy to put together and it's really good, so I recommend you give this a try. Next up, I'm trying a new recipe for Bisquick chocolate chip cookies. This is from Plain Chicken. I will include the recipe for this as well as the recipe for the dip in the description box below. I've had this pen for a few years and just hadn't gotten around to making it, but I decided today was the day. So let me show you what you'll need. As you can see, there aren't many ingredients. You'll need 1 cup of chocolate chips, 1 cup of packed brown sugar, 2 3/4 cup of Bisquick. I'm just using this from Aldi. You'll need 2 teaspoons of vanilla, an egg, 1 stick of softened butter, and then you can also use 1/2 cup of chopped nuts, but that is optional. To get started, I've preheated my oven to 375 degrees. In this medium mixing bowl, I'm going to add in the butter, then the brown sugar, the egg, and the vanilla, and I'm going to mix that together really well. And just a quick note, if you missed my latest What's for Dinner video, I am currently doing a 500 subscriber giveaway. So be sure to check out that What's for Dinner video if you have not already seen it so that you can enter into the giveaway. Next, I'm going to add in the Bisquick, then the chocolate chips, And if you're adding the nuts, you'd add the nuts as well. And then I'm going to give that a stir and mix that together really well. I noticed on the comments on this recipe that several people mentioned that it was just way too dry and crumbly for them and they had to add some sort of liquid. I did have that happen. This was just way too dry, so I had to add about 1/3 of a cup of water to get everything to come together. Some people, though, in the comments said that they didn't have that problem, so I would suggest you omitting the water at first and then kind of seeing if you need it and adjusting it from there. So once I've got that mixed together really well, I'm just going to take my measuring spoon and measure these out onto my cookie sheets. Now, I only have one Silpat liner, so I've got that lined on one cookie sheet. On the other one, I just sprayed it with some nonstick cooking spray. And the recipe does say to use a teaspoon measure. I used about a tablespoon measure, so my cookies were a little bit larger than what the recipe called for. The recipe calls for you to bake these for 8 to 10 minutes, but again, because I made mine a little larger, I cooked them for closer to about 14 minutes. They were just a little bit over brown, but they were still good, but they should have been cooked for about 12 minutes for this size. So once the cookies are done out of the oven, I'm just going to allow them to cool on the baking sheet for a couple of minutes, and then I'm going to transfer them to a wire rack and allow them to cool to room temperature. And here are the finished chocolate chip cookies. I thought these were pretty good, and I'm not even a big chocolate chip cookie fan, so I recommend you give this a try. They were super quick and easy to put together, and they used ingredients that more than likely you already have on hand. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, please hit the thumbs up button below and subscribe to my channel. Have a great rest of the day. Bye-bye.